Welcome to another edition of Business Exposure. I am Pedro Samuels, your local realtor with Sutton Group Summit. With me today is Jackie Ipsit, owner and operator of Jackie's Creative Cakes and Sweets. Jackie.
Hi Pedro, how are you?
I am wonderful and welcome to Business Exposure.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Tell us, Jackie, tell us a little about Jackie and how would you describe your business?
So I'm Jackie. I was born in the Philippines and came here in Canada as I started as a caregiver. And then over the years I stayed here, I discovered this God-given talent that I never dreamed of to become a baker
Wonderful.
cake artist.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I started doing this cake business since 2012 as a part-time business.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic times, when people lost their jobs, for me, it's the other way around. I got busy with the breads and cakes. So I started doing this at home. And then my customers, my client network grew. So I decided to open this bake shop in the middle of 2021. And that's the middle of the pandemic still.
Middle of the pandemic. Yeah. Wow.
And yeah, and we're still here.
Wonderful.
Up and running.
That's great.
Yeah. And
well, it's good to know that, well, it's not many people that has the entrepreneur spirit to continue when there's adversity.
Yes.
And you have overcome all of that in the middle of a pandemic. You were prepared and willing to fulfill your dreams.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I don't have any experience in, I didn't go to school. I didn't go to culinary arts school. So this is just like...
So you're more or less self-taught?
I am self-taught.
Wonderful.
I took some basic courses online. I don't have really a diploma making cakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm sure your cakes are delicious. I can just look at what you have in the showcase here.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody enjoys eating Jackie's Creative Cakes.
Yes.
So how would you describe Jackie's Creative Cakes?
So we are basically a Filipino bake shop or a cake shop. So because I wanted to still bring the Filipino culture, the first cake that I made is the ube. It's a kind of purple yam, and it's color purple. That's why our logos and everything else here is purple. So that's where I started. Because I wanted to still introduce the Filipino flavor to other in this diverse community, right? So that's our mission is to come out in this community to give them the Filipino flavors, to let them try the Filipino flavors.
To give them a taste of the Filipino.
And now the ube, it's becoming popular, not just here in Canada, but in the US.
What is the ube?
It's a ube, it's a kind of like similar to taro. Like it's a root crop, but it has the nutty flavor taste. Okay. And we usually describe it as like a purple yam as well, because the color is the purple yam. But if you taste it, it's very different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's great. So, what is it that makes? Well, you have just described so many little things about the flavoring of your cake, and I'm sure that is what makes it different from your competitors, right? Because you're not only bringing the ingredients in from the Filipino culture, but you're also mixing it with the Canadian style.
Yes.
Which is,
so yeah, I'm making like a fusion of flavors.
Right.
So I'm trying to elevate what the Filipino has to, of course, to cater the other culture taste. So I'm mixing them together. Yeah.
Great. I know that that you said that this is a gift that you got, but what is it that really inspired you to start doing the baking?
The it inspired me because when I have my first daughter, my first child, so I wanted to, of course, make you organize the parties, right? So I wanted to, of course, make their custom cakes. So actually, I still have my very first custom cake for my first child, and that was already 10 years old. So yeah, that inspired me to, if I make something for my kids, I make them happy, right? And
Right.
it's very fulfilling for me. It's very rewarding to make your own daughters or your own kids cake.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
so
right.
that's inspired me, and I wanted also to help the other moms, other parents to lessen their burden to finding the cakes for their kids.
Great,
Yeah.
great. I know there's many processes in making a cake or any form of pastry. Is there any particular part in the designing of the cake that that excites you and you just want to keep doing it?
Yes, my favorite part in decorating cakes is when you sculpt the cake. Let's say someone ordered you a Louis Vuitton cake or Chanel cake. So you shape that into that kind of bag, right? Or
Yeah.
the Nike shoes. So that's very challenging to me. You know, my brain really work thinking of how you can come up with that design. You
Right.
can make it a hyper realistic cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the details.
Great, great. So that's what is it that really gets you going?
Yes.
The designing of it.
Designing, yeah.
It's like you're now going to be getting into yourself and bring that out
Yes.
in the designing of the cake.
Yeah.
That's great, Jackie. That's wonderful. What are the future plans for Jackie's Creative Cakes?
Our future plans is to, we wanted to reach out more of the people who doesn't know our Filipino flavors, our Filipino cakes, and other, not just ube, but we wanted, of course, to still introduce them to other flavors like the coconut, pandan, something like that. So we wanted to expand this, not just bakery, but something maybe a restaurant or maybe a coffee shop. So that's our future plans.
To expand your business.
Yes.
That's great. Wonderful. For a beginner who is just starting this sort of a business and would like to get into baking, what tips would you offer that person?
Oh, there's a lot of tips I can offer based on my experience.
Oh, yeah?
The number one is if you wanted to go on a baking business, the number one you have is patience. Because baking is, you cannot get it perfect in one day.
Okay.
So baking, it takes practice. The more you do, the more you
You develop the
develop
flavor,
your
the skills and the flavor
Yes.
and
the
adjust
flavors.
the ingredients and
Yeah, and the
okay.
patience, and
Yeah.
especially when making cakes, especially the custom cakes, because not all the clients or customers are the same. So there's one that's very simple, this one is very picky, and they're very detailed. So you just have to be professionally deal with them, be nice with them, take all the details, and try to do as much as you can. So that's the number two is that don't be afraid to fail, because you will always get that failure mistakes.
Oh, yes.
But
Oh, yes.
don't give up.
Yes.
'Cause
Oh, yes.
if you give up,
Oh, yes.
you lose, right?
yes.
So just keep going.
Oh, yes.
Learn from your mistake. And number three is that always just be nice to your customers, because
Wonderful.
customer
Oh yes.
Customer service is
Is
very important.
very important,
In the
and of
business.
course, without your customers, you're nothing. So
Yeah,
you
yes.
have to make sure that you're serving your customers as how they need to be served.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Jackie, for
You're
that. How long have you been in the neighborhood? But before you answer that question, you made mention about something about giving or creating based on orders, right? You build cakes according to requests.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
So when they wanted custom cake.
Yeah, right.
So
Custom cake. That's
custom
it.
cakes.
Right,
Yes.
right.
For let's say wedding, anniversaries, kids' birthday, milestone birthdays. I ask them what's the theme or what's the design, and then do you have any inspiration? You can send it to me, and let's see what we can do. So, and I always tell them I cannot copy someone else, but let me do what I can do.
Right.
I will try my best to make something as closer as the inspiration.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
And then
good.
have during the order time, I need time. Let's say if you want a cake next month, okay, so you have to order a few weeks before.
Of course, give you time to prepare the ingredients and to not only prepare the ingredients but also to come up with the design that
Yes.
you want to put on
Yeah.
the cake. That's great, wonderful. How long have you been here?
I've been here for 16 years.
16 years.
Yes.
Oh, great, wonderful. And you enjoy living in this community,
I
or
love-
do you
yes.
live in this area, or
Yeah, I've been living in Scarborough community since 2012.
2012?
Yes.
Wonderful, Jackie. I thank you so much.
And I love this community.
You love the community,
Yes.
so do I.
Yes,
And this is-
Scarborough.
oh, for sure, for sure. Thank you so much,
You're
Jackie.
welcome, Pedro.
Thank you for taking
It's
the
my
time
pleasure.
to speak with Business Exposure.
Yes.
This has been another edition of Business Exposure. Should you wish to have your business exposed, feel free to call me at 416-938-8593. Remember, this is absolutely free of charge to you. See you soon.